Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wealthy Life, a channel for your personal growth, awakening, and financial wisdom. Have you ever wondered, in a world where others feast while some are devoured, is protecting yourself an act of cowardice or the ultimate wisdom? In a world that roasts a lamb and slaughters a cow, is self-preservation weakness or wisdom? We live in a hyper-competitive era where those who hesitate are forgotten, where social media celebrates outrage, where ambition tramples empathy. The world often feels like a feast of the few and a battlefield for the rest. So what happens to those who choose stillness over struggle, observation over opinion, peace over participation? Are they missing out or seeing through the illusion? Let's unpack this idea. Self-preservation in a world obsessed with noise, drama, and dominance. Why do we feel pressure to engage in everything? Have you noticed that people who stay quiet in meetings are considered weak? Or that those who don't respond on social media are called indifferent or out of touch? We're conditioned to believe that if you're not visible, you're irrelevant, that if you're not choosing sides, you're spineless, that if you walk away from a fight, you're a loser. But think about it. Is a lion cowardly because it doesn't chase every gazelle? Is a wise monk worthless because he chooses solitude over debate? Our need to engage in everything is shaped by hustle culture, equating productivity with worth, digital performance, social validation through visibility, fear of being forgotten, driven by fear of missing out, toxic expectations, that strength is proven by confrontation, but constantly fighting, posting, arguing, proving it's exhausting, and often meaningless. The ancient wisdom from modern times, the Chinese proverb, "The wise preserve themselves." It comes from centuries-old literature and philosophy, emphasizing that those who understand the world do not rush to clash with it. They observe, they assess, they act only when it's necessary and meaningful. Take Tao Yuanming A.S. example, a well-respected Eastern Jin poet. Left his government post not out of fear, but out of integrity. He refused to flatter corrupt leaders and instead chose a simple life of farming and poetry. People mocked him for abandoning power, but history remembers him for living authentically, untainted by the system. That's not weakness. That's timeless strength. Let's step into cinema and literature. In The Godfather, Michael Corleone doesn't want to join his family's violent legacy. He believes in restraint. But once he's pulled into the world of crime, we witness how even a man of principle can be transformed by the chaos around him. His initial self-preservation was not cowardly, it was noble, but the world forced him to abandon it, and he became the very thing he feared. In The Hunger Games, Peter Mellark doesn't fight with violence. His tools are empathy, emotional intelligence, and strategy. While others kill, he connects. He's not seen as strong in the traditional sense, but he survives with his values intact, something very few in that world manage. Let me share you the art of choosing your battles. Self-preservation doesn't mean hiding in fear. It means being smart about where you invest your energy. Not every challenge is yours to take on. Sun Tzu's The Art of War reminds us, he will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. In a world that equates busyness with success, knowing when to retreat is revolutionary. Imagine if we evaluated strength not by how much noise someone makes, but by how centered and unshakable they remain. Consider Nelson Mandela. During his 27 years in prison, he could have emerged with vengeance, but he understood that true power wasn't in retaliation, but in restoration. He preserved his dignity and soul, and in doing so, led South Africa into democracy without bloodshed. Or take Barack Obama. During countless political attacks, he often responded not with anger, but with calm, measured grace. He chose dignity over drama, and that made his presence even more powerful. Even in tech, look at Warren Buffett. In financial bubbles where others rush in, Buffett often waits, observes, and invests only when the odds are in his favor. His restraint has made him one of the world's richest people. He once said, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." The cost of constant engagement. Let's get personal. If you're constantly involved in every conflict, every opinion, every battle, what do you lose? Peace of mind, emotional energy. Focus on your long-term goals. You don't have to be the loudest to be the most powerful. Sometimes, not reacting is the most powerful response. Think of emotional Aikido, where you use your opponent's energy against them by not giving them what they want. People expect drama, so disappoint them with calm. So should you engage? Ask yourself these questions. 1. Does this battle threaten my values or future? 2. Will speaking up help or just escalate conflict? 3. Is silence a sign of fear or a sign of maturity? 4. Am I protecting myself or avoiding discomfort? If your honest answer is, I'm stepping back for my long-term well-being, then that's not cowardice. That's wisdom in motion. In Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, he writes, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Self-preservation lives in that space. It's the pause, the breath, the choice not to act impulsively, but intentionally. In psychology, it's aligned with emotional regulation, the ability to delay gratification or reaction for a higher purpose. Those who master it tend to lead, not follow. Stillness is not stagnation. Nature teaches us this too. A tree in winter looks lifeless, but it's gathering strength. A wave pulls back before it crashes with power. A seed lies dormant before it bursts into bloom. Stillness is not weakness. It's preparation. So redefine your strength. Here's the question again. In a world that roasts a lamb and slaughters a cow, are you failing by protecting yourself, or are you the only one playing the long game? Self-preservation is not about hiding. It's about timing, alignment, and clarity. It's about asking, what am I building? What am I protecting? What am I willing to let go to keep my peace? Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is not fight, because those who endure quietly often survive the longest and shine the brightest when the time is right. If this video gave you clarity or courage, hit like and subscribe. Share in the comments. When did choosing silence or stillness change your life? Let's honor the power of self-preservation together.